Hello YouTube, it's me FemShep, and I am back with another video in my Street Fighter 6 analytics tutorial series, which thus far has consisted of you're playing too safe and your turn isn't over. And this episode is called You're Jumping to Conclusions, pun very much intended. We're going to be talking about what your options are after a jump-in attempt is blocked, because this is an area where I personally have a very strong tendency to autopilot, and have only recently begun to unpack what other options I have in that situation. So if you're anything like me, this might help free up your mind a little bit, improve the variation in your approach, and help you win more matches. Starting out, big thank you to my channel members on YouTube, Jordan Walsh, Clint Bellinger, Patrick Holmes, and Shaq the Great. Your financial support enables me to continue putting out videos like this, and I hope you appreciate things like the shoutouts, the replay reviews. If anyone else is interested in receiving any of those perks, you can check out channel memberships on my page now. I really appreciate the support. But now let's get into the video. Okay. So, obviously, in Street Fighter 6, you don't want to do jump-ins constantly, because if you're predictably jumping, you're gonna get, that's right, anti-aired, like this. Oop. That's enough of that. So, you don't want to constantly be doing jump-ins. You do want to know what your options are after a jump-in lands, obviously. For Marissa, if I don't know if the jump-in is going to hit, because it's just a raw jump-in, I'm usually going to do my medium punch target combo, because I have lots of time to hit confirm whether or not those two medium punches connected. So, if I then realize it hit by the end of it, I can do an extension, like so. Oop. You see there, it didn't hit, so I didn't keep doing anything past target combo. That was major. I would try to end in something semi-safe. But if it actually did hit him, I can then do my extension, however, from there. If you absolutely know your jump-in is going to hit, like for instance, you jumped over a fireball, so you already know he's not going to recover in time, then you can go for something that requires a hit confirm for the extension that is only one hit. So for Marissa, that's back heavy punch into quarter circle back heavy, like so. And you get a safe jump. But what happens after your jump-in is blocked? I already gave my example of my go-to jump-in sequence that I was relying on pretty much entirely for a very long time on Marissa, and that is to do this. Obviously not always ending with the Gladius. I could try to beat a DP. I could try to go into the man grab. I can go into a light to try to set up a shimmy or tick throw situation. I could try to set up another +2 situation there. There are a lot of things you could do, but the important thing is that I was always doing those medium punches after the blocked jump in. And I want to talk about what some of your other options are after you do a jump in like this and you see that they blocked the initial aerial attack. I'm gonna switch to Ken for this because he has some specific things that make this a little easier to explain, namely just a more straightforward moveset as compared to the full cast in Street Fighter 6, especially that his stand jab is a 4-frame and Marissa's stand jab is a 6-frame that goes into a target combo that only combos on counter hit and has a noticeable gap. So for the purposes of example, I'm just gonna switch back to Ken because I think that's gonna make things a little clearer and easier to explain. So, you're Ken, you jump in, your heavy punch gets blocked. You're some variety of plus here, depending on how high you were when you hit the button. There, +4, +4, +5, it was +6 a minute ago, but you're plus in their face. So, one thing you absolutely never want to do is do your jump in on block and then go into a light string. And the reason for that is, if you look at the frame meter down here, you see there are absolutely no black gaps in that string. It's a block string. So even if on reversal, Ryu is mashing his fastest button on block, done correctly, then there's no gap between the jump in and the light. Obviously, he'll get counter hit by the jab chain. If he continues to mash, they're unlikely to continue to mash. But as you can see, that initial jump in into first life, that's a block string. So there's no opportunity to frame trap them, because even if they're mashing, their button isn't going to come out. Where here now he's still set to mash. If you instead do a medium on block after the jump in, there is a gap between the medium and the heavy jump in, or light jump in. For the purposes of example, we're doing heavy. Like so, you can look at the frame meter here. Actually, kind of hard to see on the frame meter. Let me just show you in reality. You see that counter hit because there was a gap between those first two hits? There's enough of a gap between the jump in and the medium that the medium is a frame trap. So if you are going to hit a button on block after your jump in, a medium is a good option. If you really want to bet it all, you can drive rush cancel that medium and then confirm into a full combo like this. But why do you not want to do that all the time? It's obviously a good option. It beats mashing. Likewise, if they were to immediately do a throw, not delayed, it beats the throw as well. And if they delay tech, if they delay that throw by 3-4 frames and block first so that they can block the attack, no harm, no foul. It's fine. You still damage their drive gauge a little bit. You're up close and personal. It's not the end of the world. So why don't you want to do this all the time? Well, because like anything else in Street Fighter, there's counterplay. And all of a sudden, I started having this happen in my matches. Because if you always hit a button, all they have to do is tap parry to turn every successful jump in on block situation where they did an anti-air on its head and put them back on offense and back in advantageous frames. So what else can you do after a blocked jump in? What are your other options, and what do those options beat? It might seem obvious, but I think actually going through what those options are and what they beat can kind of help you to think about your strategy and think about the ways in which you're not forcing your opponent to guess. Because this is a guessing situation. Anytime you're plussing your opponent's face like this, they have to guess. You could strike, you could throw, you could shimmy. And if you only ever strike, or you only ever throw, you're not taking advantage of the fact that it's a guess. You're just running the same pressure that feels safe to you because it beats multiple things. In this case, it'll frame trap a light, it'll frame trap an immediate throw. It's not super risky if they just delay tech and block it, but there is counterplay. For example, the parry. Or let's just say, instead of a parry, maybe they just know you're always going to hit a button and you get this. Oh, why was that block string? There we go. Apparently it is possible to be plus enough there that that's a block string on Ken, but most of the time it won't be. And then you can get reversal there. Likewise, I've been hard read by a super there, which never feels good. And then because you ran the same jump-in sequence you always run, you eat 4,000 damage. Which doesn't feel great when you know you just handed that to them for free by always doing the same thing. So what else can you do? And why would you want to do it? Well, for instance, instead of doing a strike, you can do a throw, which if they are reading that you always do a strike there and they parry, you then get the punish counter throw. It does a lot of drive gauge damage. It does about 2,000 health damage. Not bad. Not bad reward at all. If they tech, you're back to neutral, but it's really not the end of the world. They would have to hard read that throw with a jump or a backdash. And even if they do hard read that throw with a jump, you probably still have time to anti-air. I wonder if it's possible to unmodern. Let me just see if I can be disgusting with that. Okay, that is possible, and that is disgusting. But I digress. That beats the parry option, and that also beats them just blocking if they realize you always hit a button and they've just decided to block. If they know you always hit a button and they started doing something really risky, like the aforementioned invincible reversal, then just waiting and doing a shimmy also puts them in a scary situation. Oop, I dropped my punish! Oh my god! And they eat over 50% for reacting to what they thought was a pattern. Obviously, it's the same situation if they like to do a super there. If they like to throw tech, another thing you can do, instead of just reacting to... Well, if they're doing an immediate throw tech, as I said, you can just frame trap it with your medium. But if they're delaying the throw tech, then it's harder because they'll block the medium because they're delaying the tech. In that situation, after the jump in, if you do an immediate neutral jump on most characters, you're gonna have the opportunity to punish on the way down when you see them whiff the throw tech like this. I dropped my punish. Something like that. Because you've conditioned them that they need to delay tech there because your main approach options are strike or throw. Likewise, maybe they want to drive reversal there. They don't want to guess at all, and they're trying to do a less risky option than an ODDP or a super. If you hit any button there, strike or throw, you're eating the reversal. But if you just block, so that is another option that you can be prepared for when you're doing your jump ins. What else can they do after you do your jump in? Maybe they like to go for a jump, which again you could beat with a button. But if you did something like a throw, you still have time to anti-air, as said before. If you've been throwing them a lot and you think they're going to try to react with, instead of a jump, a backdash, an even bigger button than a medium will hit them out of a backdash. A heavy, like... And yeah, that's a hard read, because there's a big gap there where if they were mashing, they'd just hit you out of it. But if you think they're going to do something to get away from a throw, like a backdash, that takes longer, then you can get a big punish off. If you've shown them that you're willing to just block after the jump in a lot, or that you're willing to walk back for the shimmy to try to punish a throw tech, they may try to call out the shimmy with a crouch medium kick. And then you can go back to your original game plan of just hitting a medium button for a combo after you're jumping. So it's all about rotating your options. You can establish first, if you want to play real simple, you can't mash after my jump in because I will counter hit you. They go, okay, you like to hit a button there, I'm going to parry. And then you can throw them. Even if you block, you can get the punish counter throw off. If you just wanted to block and see if they did something invincible first, like this, you have all the time in the world to walk forward again and throw them out of that parry. Now, they don't want to parry anymore. They're either just going to block, or maybe they're just like, all right, if you want to keep backing up and just waiting for me to do something, I'm going to catch the shimmy with my crouch medium kick, and then again, you can go back to the original game plan of just frame trapping them. If they just want to walk back because they think you're going to throw, that's another situation where you can catch the walk back with your own crouch medium kick. So again, it is all about rotating your options. To again go for if they like to throw tech a lot, mess them up with a double jump in. And it creates a situation where if they fail to anti-air your jump in, and they also don't perfect parry it, they hold it, they block it, or they parry it but they didn't get the perfect parry, your plus, make them guess. Don't just autopilot what you know is a decent string on block. You can shimmy here, you can throw here, you can jump again, or even backdash, same with the delay tech. If you really want to mess them up off the delay tech, let me see what I can get there. Okay, maybe not enough time to punish the delay tech with the backdash there. Oh, there is enough time to punish there. Oop. Oop. Gotta walk back first. By varying your options, you make it much scarier for them if they are not successfully anti-airing you nearly every time. Because they actually have to consider their best option on defense instead of being able to safely just block, or just parry, or just do a reversal because you always do something. It makes it much more valuable, even if you miss time a jump in. As long as they fail to anti-air it, you're still creating real pressure because it's a real guessing situation. And I did want to also add on Marissa, before I close this out, that some characters can also mess you up if they've really conditioned you to block or parry after their jump in by always hitting a button.
Where are you going?
Is that real? No! Marissa's command grab is 13 frames between the armor stance and the startup of the grab. That is a 13 frame startup. He has all the time in the world to hit a crouch medium kick and a half there and punish you for going for that option. Or just jump and get a massive punish. But if you've shown them that they should block here, you can start doing fake shit.
Where are you going? Sweet dreams.
Marissa doesn't get anything off of a backdash here, unfortunately, if they were to delay attack. You see, I'm only +5 there, and I'm nowhere near close enough for my only 5 frame to connect. Likewise, I think it's a little harder to time if you do the neutral jump strategy. Actually, you can do that. And that is a perfect example of what I was saying earlier about the hit confirms. Because before, if I landed that, I was always doing mediums. And then to extend my combo, I already have to spend 2 bars. Disregard the screaming cat in the background. He's having a field day with the toy. Are you good, buddy? I love you. Why are you a gremlin? I love you very much. So before I was always autopiloting the mediums there, and then I have to spend the 2 bars to extend the combo. But since I already see him with the throw tack, and I'm preemptively hit confirming it, I can go for the back heavy punch extension instead like this. And get a much bigger punish with more carry because I was able to save my meter into the first Dima bounce. And now I just did over 60%. So different characters can have different unique options depending on the speed of the backdash, depending on if they have a command grab, depending on what their options are off of their mediums. Likewise, Marissa's ability to punish drive reversal is significantly lower than Ken's because she doesn't have a fast enough medium attack. She can only punish with lights. But even so, if you time your jumping correctly and you come down with the punch, you can still bait that with neutral jump. Actually, just blocking here, if you think they're going to drive reversal, isn't great on Marissa, because if you just block, It's not terrible, but I mean, look how scaled that is. That was a full meter dump. But because it started with a light, it's still doing less than 50% damage on Marissa because she could only punish with a light there. So it's much more valuable if you think they're going to drive reversal to go for the neutral jump after the jump in like this. Oop. So you want to experiment with your character and what their options are. Likewise, it might be valuable to shimmy more often on Marissa, because that is where she gets her big damage if they do just scream, "Get off me," after you're jumping. And that's where she gets her big muscle mommy damage. Hello, 65%. All told, it's about forcing your opponent to consider all of the different things you can do and varying your options, and also cycling your options in such a way that you can provoke a specific response. For instance, if you always do jump in button, eventually they're going to want to parry, as I said before, and then you can do something fake like this. You wouldn't be able to do that if you hadn't shown them they should parry there. Or if you think they're just gonna walk back, catch them with a low. That's very unrewarding if they just block. You're just minus and have gained nothing. But if they've shown you they like to walk back after the jump in, instead of crouch block, suddenly this has utility. You have to delay it a little bit to avoid it being a block strain. There it is. I think I'm just repeating myself at this point, so I think I'm going to end it there. But if you found this helpful, shout it out in the comments. What are your go-to options when your jump in is blocked? Do you have a favorite option that you see yourself going for a lot? Do you have something that is especially rewarding on your character, a unique combo opportunity, a particular punish that you like that other characters don't have? If you hard read a specific option, let me know. I would love to hear what your experiences have been like with this. And moral of the story here is, if you're on defense, you gotta anti-air those jump-ins, man. And I am working on that myself. At the end of the day, if you don't anti-air that jump in, you're cooked. Because then he's plussing your face. Until I do that. Modern problems require modern solutions. Thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video. As a final addendum, I did forget to mention I was discussing for the vast majority of this video what to do after you jump in with a button and that button is blocked. But there is one other type of frequently underrated jump in, and that is an empty jump, where you just jump at them and you don't hit a button. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, there are certain characters with shallower DPs that don't reach as far horizontally as others. Ed is a very good example of this. I think Mai, to some degree, might be an example of this. And if they went to anti-air you with a DP, and you didn't actually hit a button, and you landed fairly quickly, and their DP didn't travel far enough, or didn't react fast enough, you then land in front of them and have time to block before their DP comes out, and can then get a big punish off of having blocked the DP. Likewise, if they are looking specifically to anti-air the button and the button just doesn't come out, it could throw them off. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned that. When you play someone that has a habit of anti-airing with perfect parry, especially, they might tap parry on your way down. And if they tap parry on your way down, they are then still going to be stuck in that parry animation long enough for you to punish counter throw them, possibly even for you to command grab them, which would also be punish counter. This is especially useful in situations where you are in the corner and trying to jump out. because often I will try to jump out with the cross up, and then to my horror, instead of getting what I wanted, they perfect parry my cross up, they throw me back at the corner, I didn't get out, I'm still in a scary situation. If they've shown you that their main solution to keep you from getting out of the corner at close range is to perfect parry anti-air, if you empty jump and they hit parry, he's now parrying, forward throw, you take 2 bars of his drive gauge, you do 2,000 damage, and now they're in the corner instead of you. So do not neglect the power of the empty jump, and do not neglect to love your cat, or he will scream in the background, buddy! I love you! Alright, now I'm actually signing off. Thanks, everybody.